We are live. We are live. It is time, nearly time, about 15 minutes time. It is Halloween Havoc, NXT Halloween Havoc. We are here on WrestleNews 365 for another watch along here live on the YouTube channel. Really excited. Really excited for this one. It's the first Halloween Havoc for 20 years. If you can believe that, 20 years. The last Halloween Havoc was in October 2000. Now in my head, this is how old I am at this point. In my head, whenever I hear like 2000, I go, oh, so a few years ago, 20 years ago. This has been the event, like they bring back events from like WCW. They've been doing it a lot. It feels like Wednesday night at this point is just like the WCW Resurrection night. If it's not Bash at the Beach on AEW Dynamite, if it's not the Great American Bash for NXT, now we've got Halloween Havoc and we've got Starrcade. I mean, that's not on a Wednesday night, but you get my point. It is, it feels like constant WCW stuff is being brought back because there is a demand for it. There is absolutely a demand for it. But this is the one. Halloween Havoc was always my favourite WCW event. It was always my favourite WCW pay-per-view. So I'm so excited. I am really excited to see what NXT does with this. In all of the sort of themed events that NXT have done this year, whether it was In Your House or the Great American Bash, I felt like they did a really good job in terms of just like the set, making it feel different, making it feel unique, making it feel like a big show. Whether it was for In Your House, they literally brought back the old In Your House set with the door and all that kind of stuff. I loved that. I thought the Great American Bash set looked cool as well with the whole sports cars vibe. So I am really hoping that we get the giant pumpkin tonight. Now, I think WWE on Fox, their Twitter account, released like a first sneak peek at what the set is going to look like for Halloween Havoc tonight. The problem is, this is so frustrating, by the way. This is so frustrating. The WWE on Fox Twitter account is obviously like geo-locked, so that you can only see it if you're in the United States because it's like a Fox deal. Whereas, for instance, I don't know if in America you can see the WWE on BT account. So the problem is that Fox had this exclusive, this is a first look at the Halloween Havoc set, and in the UK we can't see it. So I've been waiting for all this stuff to come online and I haven't. So I guess you're going to find out with me. You're going to see my genuine reaction when we go, when NXT Halloween Havoc goes live on the air in about 10 minutes time. In about 10 minutes time, hopefully I'm going to see the giant pumpkin. If I don't see the giant pumpkin set, I mean, clip it. I will be devastated. Honestly, my hopes are up so high for a giant pumpkin set. I mean, that will make the night for me. Forget about the promos, forget about the matches, forget about the storylines, forget about anything. All I want is the giant pumpkin. It's all I want, guys. It's all I want is the giant pumpkin. That's all I care about. Tonight is the giant pumpkin. That's all I want. We'll check the chat already. We've got a couple of comments. Excuse me. Ian Thompson says, I'm going to Herd and say Retribution should move to SmackDown and Roman Reigns should take leadership of Retribution. I don't think that happened. To be honest, by the looks of things on Monday Night Raw, I mean, Retribution, have they won one match since they actually started having matches on Raw? They haven't. So I think that says WWE's actual mindset, shall we say, when it comes to Retribution in WWE right now. If you are new to the channel, by the way, we are currently on, last time I checked, 1,096 subscribers. So we are 4 subscribers away from 1,100. So if you are new to the channel, if you're new to WrestleNews 365, if you enjoy these kind of watch-alongs, these kind of live streams, we're going to be doing a lot more. I think I'm going to do another one on Friday for SmackDown, and I'm probably going to start doing them for Raw, either NXT or AEW on a Wednesday. Usually, I must be brutally transparent here, I usually watch AEW on Wednesdays. But this is a TV special. This is the first Halloween Havoc in 20 years. How can you not watch live? So I'll probably be doing normally AEW live streams on Wednesdays and then SmackDown on Fridays, pay-per-views. We've got Full Gear coming up in a couple of weeks. So if you're new to the channel, this is the time to subscribe because we're going to be doing a lot of watch-alongs, live streams, and we do daily videos as well. So there is all of your pro wrestling needs in one place in this channel. So if you haven't already, please do subscribe. You can do that. Click in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen right now. If you are excited, if you're ready for Halloween Havoc, be sure to smash a like on the like button as well. Super chats are open as well tonight. You can do that by clicking the $ sign in the live chat. Any donations are really appreciated. towards the channel. So if you have anything to spare, please do. Let's talk about the Halloween Havoc card as well, because there have been quite a few things that have actually been announced for tonight's show. Now, I say things that have been announced. The issue is that those reports about another outbreak happening in the WWE Performance Center have been running rampant over the last 24 and 48 hours. We know that there has been another outbreak at the Performance Center. It marks the fourth, count them, 1, 2, 3, 4, fourth outbreak in 5 months at the WWE Performance Center. There is something going on there. There is something going on there. I made a whole video about it earlier on the channel. You can check that out. But there is something going on at that Performance Center in terms of not following policy, not getting tested. I think they're getting tested twice a week, not every day. At the Amway Center in Orlando, you have to be tested negative to appear on camera and just get in. Whereas at the Performance Center, that's not the case. There is 4 outbreaks in 5 months. There is an issue. There is obviously an issue there. But we know that is going to affect tonight's show. Dave Meltzer did a report and basically said some aspects of tonight's show are going to be changed because of this outbreak at the Performance Center. Now, he did mention that I think he said like household names or regular fixtures, I can't remember the exact quote he used, are affected. So I don't think the big matches per se have been affected, but there have been some things that are going to be affected because of this outbreak at the Performance Center. So we'll have to wait and see on that tonight. I think an interesting thing though is that tonight, regardless of this outbreak, we are still having 100 fans, invited fans, not paid, but invited fans into the Capitol Wrestling Center in the WWE Performance Center to watch the show tonight, which to me is, talk about walking, you're not even walking a fine line, you are walking on the edge of a razor blade when it comes to that, because my oh my, you've got an outbreak at the Performance Center, you're telling certain talents they have to self-isolate and stay at home for 14 days, and yet you're inviting fans in? That is insane. That is absolute insanity. And I wonder about the fans that are coming into the Performance Center tonight. How safe must they feel? Because I think attending any event during a pandemic, that it's got to be in the back of your mind. It has to be in the back of your mind. Let alone going into a place where you fully well know, the reports are there has been an outbreak in the last 48 hours and you're getting 100 fans in there. Now, obviously, they have testing to get fans in, and but I don't know. I believe they do get an actual test, whether they're positive or negative, but it's just, again, very, very, there's a fine line they are walking there, a very, very fine line. So we'll have to wait and see on that. We'll check once again in the chat. Brian says, Champagne football for both of our teams in the Champions League tonight. Still don't know how fans are allowed in the stadiums in other countries, but we can't. It's a very confusing situation over here in the UK when it comes to that kind of situation. This is what's fascinating, is that when you watch sport or you watch anything, and like I said, we were saying with WWE tonight, is you see the different situations when it comes to live fans in attendance per country. And as Brian makes mention here, over here in the UK, they're still not allowing fans in to watch professional sports events. In certain other countries, they are. The interesting thing is that over here, they're allowing fans not in stadiums to watch games, but they are allowing fans in theatres, cinemas to watch games over here. It's very, very confusing. Not to get too political and into it, but we've seen that France and Germany have gone into national lockdown today. So this thing is very, very fluid. We could see a lot of changes in the coming days anyway, and that's what I expect, to be honest. We are about 5 minutes away from NXT Halloween Havoc going on the air. I just want the pumpkin. That's all I'm saying. I want the giant pumpkin. If anyone can confirm that we are getting the giant pumpkin set tonight, then that is my nightmare already, and we haven't even started Halloween Havoc. Obviously, as always, NXT is in opposition to AEW Dynamite, airing in the same time slot tonight. I think this is one of the rare occasions where NXT will defeat AEW Dynamite in total viewership. It has to. It has to, doesn't it? It has to. I think if you look at the circumstances here, the NXT very rarely beats AEW Dynamite in total viewership and the demo. In the cases that they have defeated them, most of the time it's been these TV events. The Great American Bash beat AEW Dynamite 2 weeks in a row in total viewership. On the odd occasion, I think last year as we were heading into Survivor Series and you had the Raw and SmackDown invasion, you had NXT defeat AEW Dynamite then, and the odd show here and there, but very rarely. I think tonight will be a case where they do beat AEW Dynamite in total viewership. When it comes to that demo though, that key important demo, the advertiser coveted demo, the television network coveted demo, the 18 to 49 demo, I do still expect to have AEW Dynamite beat NXT in the demo tonight. Why? Because it happens every week. It happens every week. Has there been a time, I mean, maybe I should have done my research here, but has there been a time that NXT has beaten them both in total viewership and the demo? I don't know if there has. I really don't know if there has. But tonight, as I mentioned, you've got NXT Halloween Havoc. You've got, in opposition to that, you've got AEW Dynamite. But Dynamite isn't live tonight. It's taped. The spoilers have come out online. They're not hard to find, so that does affect things. And in addition to that, you've got this TV special of a first Halloween Havoc in 20 years. It's all the makings and all the logic there would suggest that NXT is going to beat AEW in total viewership tonight. The demo, though, I don't know. The demo that's going to be a difficult one there as well. Ian says, I was born in 2003, but I was watching WCW 2000 and Vince Russo and Eric Bischoff did a terrible job on booking. I had an idea to book WCW in 2000, but I would have another NWO takeover. I looked at, funny you mentioned that, I looked at the Halloween Havoc 2000 card earlier, it's always fun to reminisce and go back in time and check out what it looked like 20 years ago, and I forgot some of those early matches on that Halloween Havoc 2000 card. My oh my! I mean, no wonder that company had 6 months left at that point. It was not pretty, not pretty at all. What else have we got to talk about? We're 2 minutes away from 2 minutes away from Halloween Havoc going on the air. WWE Awesome Fan 123 says this year NXT is not in Survivor Series. That is a great point because that's something I wanted to talk about before Halloween Havoc goes on the air. NXT is not involved in Survivor Series like it was last year. It's just Raw and SmackDown. Now I touched on this earlier. I don't think this is WWE giving up on NXT. I don't think this is WWE going, they're just developmental, even though I do think that is the truth. But I don't think that's the key factor here. I think the key factor is, you look at the Performance Center, again, I mentioned it earlier, the fourth outbreak in 5 months. Does WWE really want to cross-contaminate and bring all of those people over to the Amway Center about these positive cases, or people when they've had to self-isolate? That's the problem. That's the problem there. So I think that's the main reason. I think the main reason is that there has been so much contamination in the Performance Center. Do you want to bring that over to the Amway Center and possibly cross-contaminate? No. I think they're trying to keep those two entities separate, keep NXT separate, and keep the main roster separate. I think that's what makes the most sense there, to be honest. So I think that'll be the case. Maybe next year, maybe it was a one-off thing to try and hype up NXT. I think the main factor there is the pandemic. We'll double check the chat once again before we get started because NXT Halloween Havoc is just about to go on the air. Brian says, let's be real, WWE has PR all over this COVID thing. You have Road Dogg on Twitter saying people don't have to wear a mask. I saw that. I thought it was absolute madness. Playing Games with Silas says, does the king reply? I'm no king. I'll reply to you though. That's fine. Ian Thompson says they should do an NXT Starrcade show. Well, they do a live event. They're not going to this year, but they did do a live event in, I think it's like December. Every year they do it. Obviously, that's when Starrcade was. But we're just about to go on the air here. So the WWE Cold Open is happening right now. So NXT Halloween Havoc is just about to go on the air. I'll be able to find out if we're going to have the giant pumpkin. This is exciting. This is exciting. If you're excited for Halloween Havoc, be sure to smash a like on the video as well. We're doing lots more of these in the future. We'll probably do another one on Friday for SmackDown, which I'm excited for. SmackDown is the better show, quite frankly, right now. As we see a cold open of the Capitol Wrestling Center and the opening package for Halloween Havoc tonight. They're showing the throwbacks to the previous Halloween Havoc events, WCW. I saw the giant pumpkin then. I've got an orange pen. I've got my orange pen for Halloween Havoc, so this is going to be good. playing games with Silas. Of course I can't show you Halloween Havoc. I don't have the rights to that. Are you crazy? BT Sport, they've signed a multi-million deal here in the UK. Not with Wrestle News 365. I think is it Marilyn Manson is doing the theme for tonight's show, or they've used Marilyn Manson's theme. As we have a look at the Capital Wrestling Centre that is covered up, and there it is. There it is. We have a giant pumpkin. I will be brutally honest. I've just seen, this is the first time I've seen the giant pumpkin. It's like an inflatable pumpkin. It is nowhere near. That pumpkin is nowhere near as good as the original pumpkin. But there is a pumpkin. I will take it. As there's Shotzi Blackheart in some form of an electric chair. She has got like a saw. There are sparks going everywhere. This is a crazy opening here. We have Shotzi Blackheart hosting. There's the Shotzi Blackheart graphic that we made for this. As Shotzi Blackheart is howling. And it looks like we're going to open up here with the NXT North American Championship match between Damian Priest and Johnny Gargano, because we have the Damian Priest intro. There is someone playing guitar here. I don't know my guitar players. For a second there, I thought it was Killian Dane. I thought it was Killian Dane. But yeah, we're gonna start it off hot here. It looks like we're gonna start it off with the NXT North American Championship between Johnny Gargano and Damian Priest. Of course, they're doing the spin the wheel, make a deal situation. So this is going to be an unbelievable match if this starts off the show. But we're getting a live entrance. We're getting a live entrance for Damian Priest, and the live entrances. NXT does live entrances unbelievably well. And there he is. That's Damian Priest. This guy is going to be a megastar. Mark my words, a megastar in WWE. Although I must say, I didn't realise how old Damian Priest is. I think he's like 37, 38 now. So he's in the peak time of his career. I know that you would think that nowadays wrestlers can last a lot longer in their careers. How NXT talent to be 38, 37, it's not old, but you get my point. You would have thought they'd be on the main roster now. However, Damian Priest, mark my words, this guy's going to be money. I think he will have greater success on the main roster than he does in NXT, without a doubt. I've just seen there as well. I've just seen that it looks to me like Vic Joseph and Wade Barrett are also in costume. I believe Vic Joseph looks like Where's Wally, but I don't know what Wade Barrett is wearing. We'll have to have a double check on that. Here comes Johnny Gargano. They have a I'm gonna mention this pumpkin about 100 times during this stream. So every time I do, take a shot, and you'll be hammered by the end of the show. No, he just didn't. Johnny Gargano just deflated the pumpkin. This is some major level BS. What is going on? What is going on? I said it was a terrible pumpkin, but there was no reason to destroy it. Oh no. This is sacrilege. This is I don't believe it. He's dressed as Beetlejuice. But here we go. Shotzi Blackheart is going to spin the wheel to make the deal. I can't believe that. I mean, I was saying about the pumpkin, but not being great, but there's no need to get rid of it. I'm devastated. Here we go, though. Shotzi Blackheart is going to spin the wheel. What match are we going to get? What match do you want to see? Let me know in the live chat what match you want to see. It is a Devil's Playground match. And what does that mean? What is a Devil's Playground match? The bell has rung as we have a no disqualification, no count out, falls count anywhere. It's a falls count anywhere match. That's what a Devil's Playground match is. I thought for a second Devil's Playground is what they call Hell in the Cell. I would have gone insane. How are they going to fit that in the Capital Wrestling Centre? Hell in the Cell is bigger than the entire Capital Wrestling Centre itself. But that's what apparently a Devil's Playground match is, as we have Gargano and Damian Priest starting in hot here. So no disqualification, no count out, falls count anywhere. Damian Priest hits a flatliner to start this one off. I like the ropes though. The ropes have been taped orange in that Halloween theme there. So I've been liking that. As Damian Priest goes for a big splash back elbow there in the corner. I really like the look of the Capitol Wrestling Center. It is done very, very well. It almost, and there's another splash in the corner. It's almost unrecognizable. It's really difficult to know that that's the WWE Performance Center. It doesn't feel like it at all. They've done a fantastic job of that. Bang! Oh my God! Spinning heel kick by Damian Priest. I mean, that was stiff. Nearly kicked his face off there. I wouldn't be surprised if we have some blood in a second. My oh my, what a kick that was. Damian Priest, though. Damian Priest. I mean, this guy, I mentioned it before. This guy, to me, has all of the feels of a guy that I think is going to do better on the main roster. I really do. There are very few guys. Damian Priest on the top rope. Gargano puts him onto the apron. Priest is going to come back in, though. Another stiff forearm to the face by Damian Priest. Damian Priest, to me, just has the look of a guy that, Vince McMahon looks at him and goes, because I think he has that look. Oh, we see that spinning heel kick again by Damian Priest. That was stiff as all hell. But, I think he's going to do better on the main roster. There are very few guys that you can say that with. Elias is an example of that. He just didn't do that much in NXT, but we've seen massive success on the main roster. I think, he catches him. He went for a slingshot spear, Johnny Gargano. Priest has caught him, flipped him round. Goes for the reckoning, but Gargano is going to slip away there. As a pretty badass, can you say that? Pretty badass NXT Halloween Havoc ring apron there. That look pretty cool. I miss a good ring apron. This is a bit of a tangent here, but sometimes with WWE, I know they've got the LED, and they've almost got the LED ring apron now. And I don't know, maybe it's the old school in me, but I like a good ring apron. There's not a slant on the match, so I've started talking about the ring apron, by the way. But Damian Priest has been thrown into the steel ring steps by Johnny Gargano, who's looking to regain control there. You can see the live fans in attendance behind the chain-linked fence there at the WWE Performance Center. As Johnny Gargano now, I'm guessing no disqualification. Remember, falls count anywhere, anything goes. So I would assume we're going to get some form of weapons in this one. That being the kendo stick, which Johnny Gargano is just pulling out now. Obviously, we saw kendo sticks galore this past Sunday at Hell in a Cell, and it looks like NXT is getting in on the action as Gargano has this kendo stick. Is he going to swing for the fences? But Damian Priest has got something of his own. Is that a nightstick? A nightstick or something like that. It looks like it. As we now are about to go to commercial, it looks like it's the best time. This is the thing that frustrates me the most with things like this. Obviously, they've just got the weapons out and they're just about to beat the hell out of each other. What should we do? Let's go to commercial. It's one of the biggest bugbears of mine whenever I'm watching a pro wrestling show is go to commercial at a point of hype. I understand it. They're thinking cliffhanger. They'll stay tuned because they want to jump back in. But to me, as a wrestling fan, the way it clicks in my head whenever they do something like that is you are exposing pro wrestling for the work it is. If in the UFC they wouldn't be beating each other with Singapore canes, but you get my point. If anything like that, if this was a legitimate shoot fight, you would never go to commercial at that point, would you? You would never go to commercial at that point because by the time you come back, the match could be over. So commercials for me, I know it's a super old school thing, but if you go back and watch a WWE show or any pro wrestling show from like the 90s, even like the late 90s, you will very, very, very rarely see them go to commercial mid-match. Why? Because it exposes the work. And it's just little things like that I think, you could bring that back. And I know it's 2020, and I know wrestling's evolved, and I know everyone knows the game. I know everyone knows that it's a work, and you're watching an entertainment show and a TV show. I understand that. But it's just little things like that. And I'm not saying that Johnny Gargano and Damian Priest should go 5 minutes in the opening segment. But it's just, little things like that just always bother me. They just always bother me. And I don't want to come off as one of those like complaining pro wrestling fans because we get enough of those on social media and YouTube. But it just always bothers me. Always bothers me. But who do we think is going to leave this one the NXT North American Champion? My money's on Damian Priest. I would have thought. I would be, quite frankly, very surprised if we saw Damian Priest drop the title, because you can't even use the excuse of, well, if he drops the title, he's going to go to Raw or SmackDown soon, because they've just had the draft. The rosters are pretty much settled the way they are until we get to probably the Royal Rumble or even WrestleMania. These are the rosters now, so I don't think we're going to see many NXT call-ups, I don't think, until at least next year, at the very, very least. So maybe Gargano would win, but I think Damian Priest is going to leave this one as the NXT North American Champion. I hope so. I think there's more for him to do as North American Champion. I still do think he could potentially be an NXT Champion before his time is up, though, in NXT. And as I mentioned, I think his biggest success will come on the main roster. I don't think he is going to be one of those guys that does well in NXT and then not in WWE. I think, if anything, he will do better on the main roster. He is a guy that Vince McMahon sees, and he gets money, dollar signs in his eyes, and heart emojis, because he will love Damian Priest. I have no doubt in my mind about that. I think he's money. I think he's absolute money. Didn't care for his whole, when he won the NXT North American title, when he was partying all the time. I thought that was a bit, again, didn't really care for that. How is that a babyface of someone that doesn't care? That doesn't care that much about the title. Surely that's the whole point, is caring about the championship. But I think Damian Priest will leave this one the NXT North American Champion. At least I hope so. As we're just about to come back from commercial, with this match hopefully continuing. I mean, they had the weapons. Wouldn't you know it? It is continuing. What a surprise. But of course, the NXT North American champion, Johnny Gargano, just dived off the stage. Johnny Gargano just called himself the best in the world. CM Punk somewhere, his steam is blowing out of his head. But this is a Devil's Playground match, which means no disqualification, no countouts, falls count anywhere, anything goes. They've just put the rules up on the screen now. Would have been useful, I don't know, about 13 minutes ago when the match started. I bet someone's obviously said during commercial, can we get that graphic up? Because no one knows what Devil's Playground match actually is, because no such thing exists. But we've got Damian Priest. He's got the nightstick back in his hand. Oh, Johnny Gargano went for a kick, and Damian Priest just hit it right into his shin there. Damian Priest chokeslammed him from the apron into the ring. Beautiful. Could this be it? I think it's going to be a 2 count. Johnny Gargano kicks out. And we've got the people in the audience, the fans in the audience, dressing up as well. Halloween, of course. I believe, social media sensation Izzy Mania is there tonight, dressed up as one of the Dudley Boys. I saw that. So we'll see if we can see her on camera. Obviously, NXT legend in the audience, right? I think those moments with Bayley back in the day, I thought they were incredible. But we have Damian Priest and Johnny Gargano now on the ring apron again. I really like those orange ropes. They're just such a different look. It's the little things about NXT that have the look that looks a lot better. Damian Priest goes for a big kick. Gargano, though, gets a kick of his own. Damian Priest on the outside of the ring. Gargano's going to go for a dive here. Suicide dive. Priest has just caught him, though. Here we go. Chokeslam. No, countered. Flatliner by Gargano into the steel chain of the plexiglass that is surrounding the arena. Here we go. Oh, my God. Slice bread number 2 onto the steel steps by Johnny Gargano. Oh, Damian Priest kicks out at 2.5. I like that spot. Sort of a slice bread Salida Del Sol version there by Johnny Gargano. Beautiful move. There is no doubt, though, with the fans in attendance, they add an atmosphere. That atmosphere is red hot in there right now. It's you can hear the crowd chanting NXT. There's 100 fans in there right now. Just again, I suppose the worry is, I know they have been tested, but the lack of social distancing there is a bit concerning. Oh my God. Johnny Gargano just did a broken arrow across the announce desk of Vic Joseph and Wade Barrett. Now, I don't hear any Beth Phoenix there tonight. Obviously, Beth Phoenix hasn't travelled to any of the tapings, but she's been doing the commentary from home. But I can only hear Vic Joseph and Wade Barrett there as we see a replay of the broken arrow across the announce desk. That was a nice spot there. Brian says, well, I wouldn't want to be there and end up sick. Well, you're not wrong. You're not wrong, Brian. Now, Damian Priest and Gargano. Oh, there is Beth Phoenix. That's the first time I've heard Beth Phoenix this entire show, unless I've missed something. But Johnny Gargano's fighting back here. They're brawling throughout the arena. They're near the set here. The set that they're near is looking like a bit of a gravesite. There's sort of mock gravestones and things of that nature. There's a casket there too. I wonder if there's going to be anyone in the casket. Gargano's opened up. Gargano, someone popped out of the casket. It was a prop. Gargano got scared, so he super kicked a mannequin. Oof. But Damian Priest has just hit a discus forearm to the face. Damian Priest hit some hell of a forearms in this match so far. Priest and Gargano brawling backstage into, well, I say the backstage area. There looks to be candy there. Oh, we got a fire extinguisher to the face by Johnny Gargano to Damian Priest. They're literally brawling throughout the Capitol Wrestling Center here. And again, another shot to what looks to be one of those sliding doors there. I wish what they'd done, I mean, maybe I'd missed this. There is candy on the side. See how quickly I got distracted there by seeing some food. Man. It's getting to that time of year, folks. Gargano is limping around here. I'm not sure what he's going for. Damian Priest is propped up against one of the sliding doors here, backstage at the Capitol Wrestling Center. Gargano's got a plastic trash can, though. Looks like he's going to launch it. Is he going to launch it at Damian Priest? Oh, no, he's poured the trash all over Damian Priest. But Damian Priest now, he's wearing the plastic trash can. He was repeatedly smashing Damian Priest's head into the steel door there. But Gargano is limping around a little bit. He's doing either a heck of a sell job or that broken arrow onto the announce desk seriously hurt him, which it looked like a rough landing. As Gargano's going to move this trolley of sorts into Damian Priest against that door once again. Remember, it's Falls Count anywhere. Ugh. Gargano, we go to commercial once again. As Gargano's about to make a pinfall, so no idea if that pinfall counted. I believe in the United States on USA Network it's picture-in-picture. Over here in the UK it is not. So that whole picture-in-picture thing just doesn't happen. I mean, that's so frustrating for viewers overseas that you just don't see any of that picture-in-picture stuff. Brian says, looks like the whole country will be going into lockdown again in the coming days. People are not listening. Well, I mentioned it earlier on. That might be a case over here. It seems like other countries are, so maybe we'll be going back. Joy says Jay White versus Finn Balor. I mean, what a match that would be. I think that match is only going to happen in New Japan, though. Yeah. Make of that what you will. But we're on commercial. We're still in the NXT North American Championship match. Damian Priest versus Johnny Gargano. It was spin the wheel, make the deal. It's a Devil's Playground match, which is essentially a glorified Falls Count Anywhere match. Falls Count Anywhere, no disqualifications. Pinfalls count anywhere, anything goes. Any other stipulation you want to throw in there might as well. Devil's Playground to me always meant Hell in a Cell, but of course that's not what we're getting. If you are enjoying this NXT North American Championship match, smash a like on the like button. Really just help us out here on YouTube. If you are new to the channel as well, be sure to subscribe to Wrestle News 365. You can do that by clicking the bottom right hand corner of the screen right now. We're going to be doing a lot more live streams and watch-alongs in the coming days and weeks. We're going to be doing one Friday for SmackDown. We'll be doing Monday Night Raws. Maybe AEW on Wednesdays or NXTs. That's still up for debate. Depends what you guys want to watch. And obviously we've got Full Gear coming up soon. Survivor Series is next month as well. We'll be doing live watch-alongs for all of those shows and events on the channel. So be sure to subscribe, click that notification bell, and you'll be notified as soon as we go live. At the time that we went live tonight, we were on 1,096 subscribers. The aim tonight is just to get 4. It's just to get 4 more and get to that 1,100 subscriber number. So if you haven't already, please do subscribe. Super chats are available still as well. You can click the $sign. Any donation is much, much appreciated. We've got, let me drop a pen. We nearly got, let's check the chat as well. We did all of those. So this NXT North American Championship match so far, what are we thinking? I think it's been okay. It's always difficult with TV matches, especially championship matches like this. is that you get the flow going, especially a match like this where there's a lot of craziness and lots of different stuff going on, is you build up the momentum, and then you get a TV commercial, and then you come back in as a viewer. I know maybe it's slightly different with the picture-in-picture in America, but for me, you come back in completely cold, and you have to win the viewer back over again. That's why these multi-segment, multi-advert matches are so difficult. Do you remember that Daniel Bryan AJ Styles Intercontinental title match earlier this year? What a great match, but it had like 5 different commercial breaks. It was insane, wasn't it? So we'll see what Gargano and Damian Priest can do here as we enter the third segment for this NXT North American Championship match. We are back in the Capitol Wrestling Center. The crowd are chanting NXT. Remember, we have an 8-minute overrun tonight on NXT Halloween Havoc as well. So that is worth mentioning. So the overrun to me suggests we want to get a big number, or NXT wants to get a big number, and they have something big planned. Why wouldn't you? It's Halloween Havoc. It's the first Halloween Havoc in 20 years. Damian Priest has a trash can. He's going to throw it at Johnny Gargano, who is on a gravestone. You're not going to hear that at Halloween Havoc. Ian Thompson says, I would really like to see Damian Priest lose to Johnny Gargano and beat Finn Balor at the next takeover for the NXT Championship. Well, that depends if Finn Balor is the champion. We don't know the case about Finn Balor's jaw right now. Of course, it is broken. We don't know if or when he is going to be back. Now we have Gargano and Damian Priest up on the platform next to the spin the wheel, make the deal wheel. So Damian Priest is currently standing over Johnny Gargano on that platform. We're going to see a big stunt or spot here, as behind them we see the virtual NXT universe around the Capitol Wrestling Center. It looks like he was going for something. Gargano has escaped and then hits a super kick under the jaw of Damian Priest, who is now down on the platform as well. Super kick, man. I was thinking this the other day. Do you remember when you used to go crazy for Shawn Michaels when he hit the super kick as a finish? It's the 2020 DDT. It's overused. It's overused and it's dead. To the point when Shawn Michaels does come back and he hits a super kick now, it doesn't even mean anything. You remember when Shawn Michaels hit Randy Orton with that super kick at Clash of Champions on top of the ambulance? It felt like nothing. You're waiting for another follow-up spot because the super kick is dead. Gargano is beating the hell out of Damian Priest with the trash can right now, though. Multiple shots. Trash cans are nasty because I think the blow itself isn't too painful because the metal is flimsy. What you have to be careful with the trash can is that on every blow, the edges come to some strange angles and get quite jagged. That's where it can be very, very dangerous. Gargano is looking to set something up, though. Gargano is now shouting at the wheel, calling it a stupid wheel. Gargano is going to go for a super kick here. Oh, Damian Priest with a kick to the face, though. Damian Priest hits some very nice kicks. He really, really does. Priest once again with another kick to Johnny Gargano. For a guy his size, the ability that he has to throw some of these kicks is pretty incredible. Again, it just once again makes you see why this guy is going to be so big on the main roster. He really is. Damian Priest is going to look set something up here. Damian Priest is going for the reckoning. Oh, wait a minute. Someone has just attacked Damian Priest from behind. He's dressed up as Scream. Who is it? Someone is dressed up as Scream and has just attacked Damian Priest with what looks like a lead pipe. Here we go. Johnny Gargano, Tornado DDT using the spin your wheel. Gargano looks pretty freaked out about who this person dressed as Scream is. I wonder who it is. They're calling it the Grim Reaper. That is certainly a Scream mask. If you watch Scream, I mean, I'm not a horror movie fan, but I know that's Scream. Johnny Gargano has a grin on his face, though. He was just handed something. Is that Tombstone? He was just handed a tombstone by the guy dressed as Scream. Here we go. Gargano, bang, has just broken. Oh my God. He's just broken the tombstone and Damian Priest has gone off the stage through some of that Halloween Havoc set. There's dust everywhere. That's got to be it. We've got to have a new North American champion here. Looks to me, Damian Priest is out cold. Remember, his falls count anywhere in this one. There's an X on the floor he's meant to land as well. But Gargano is crawling slowly. I mean, they're milking this. Here we go. Gargano's made the cover. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. And we have a brand new NXT North American champion. Johnny Gargano is the first ever 2-time NXT North American champion. My, oh my. The question now is, I suppose, is who on earth is the Grim Reaper? Who is the one dressed up as Scream? Someone's wearing a Sin Cara mask in the crowd. I wonder if he botched the wave. But Johnny Gargano is the new NXT North American champion. Well, there goes my prediction. I'm saying in the last commercial break, I'd be stunned if Damian Priest lost the North American Championship. It happened. It happened. We have a new NXT North American champion, that being Johnny Gargano, the first ever 2-time NXT North American champion. He is Mr. NXT. He has won it all on multiple occasions, and we have a new champion. I guess the question now is, who is the Grim Reaper? Let us know in the comments and the live chat who this Grim Reaper is. I'm trying to get a look at his sort of body type. I still don't really... There's no one that comes across as super recognizing. I guess the first thought of some people, and I guess the one coming to my head, would be Tommaso Ciampa. I know these guys have feuded over and over again, but I don't know. They're both heels once again. They feuded earlier this year in April. They were meant to have that match at NXT TakeOver Tampa Bay, but that got cancelled, and they had the DIY back together. Is that the case? Maybe. It did look a bit Ciampa-ish, the outline of that body, but we have a new NXT North American champion. The first match of the night, and we have a new champion. This is why you got to tune into these TV specials, is because major things can and will happen, such as Johnny Gargano becoming the new NXT North American champion. My, oh my. Does this move Damian Priest into the main event scene now? Is that the case? Well, there we are. Vic Joseph is dressed up as Where's Wally. But Where's Waldo? That's what it's called in the States. Wade Barrett is dressed as Bad News Barrett. There you go, costume contest. This is what the graphic is for. Bad News Barrett is back, yes. He's even got his gavel. He's even got the Bad News Barrett gavel. You'll love it. Oh, there is Pat McAfee as well with the new NXT Tag Team Champions, Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch. As we see a replay right now of what happened last week, where we had Breezango lose the NXT Tag Team Championships to Burch and Lorcan, where the Masked Man entered. Of course, that Masked Man was Pat McAfee. And shocking the NXT universe, shocking the WWE universe, that Pat McAfee had returned. Pat McAfee, I know some people don't like him. I absolutely love me some Pat McAfee. I think he's great. I was singing his praises before his match at NXT TakeOver 30 with Adam Cole. I thought that, obviously, that match, everyone knows how great that match was. But I was singing his praises before that because guess what? Pat McAfee has personality. Pat McAfee can talk. Pat McAfee he's the real deal, man. I know this is the strange thing for me when it comes to like pro wrestling fans, especially diehard pro wrestling fans, is they absolutely hate outsiders. Anyone that comes from outside pro wrestling or WWE, they don't like. That includes celebrities, that includes sports stars, that includes whoever. They can't stand them. Television stars, you name it. Pro wrestling fans don't like it. I think it's because it's a territory thing. You haven't earned your right to be here, etc. I get it. But people like Pat McAfee, obviously, one, he's a huge fan. Two, he gets it. He gets it. Look at he's showbiz. He was showbiz when he was playing American football. If you go watch his highlights, he was showbiz on the gridiron. And then three, he can talk. He can talk. And you can't teach that. You just can't teach that. He obviously has the personality for it. And people know who he is. People know who Pat McAfee is. Obviously, he's not a worldwide celebrity, and he's not, I'm trying to think of a really famous person, not Justin Bieber. That's a bit sad, that's the first one I thought of. But the point being is that Pat McAfee gets it. Pat McAfee can talk and he can work. because he had a great match with Adam Cole at NXT TakeOver. Now, I'm not saying that was all Pat McAfee, because obviously it wasn't. Obviously, that's Adam Cole showing his greatness in that match. But Pat McAfee's got something. He just absolutely has something. And people that say otherwise, I don't get it. It's the same people that have a massive problem with like Tyson Fury being on a WWE show. And again, I don't have a problem with it, because it gets more people watching, and it makes the event feel bigger, and it gets people. It's business. It's business. It's the same with Pat McAfee. It's business. The NXT show is better off for having Pat McAfee on it, because it gets eyeballs on that. Pat McAfee has a daily show on Sirius XM. You don't think of the free publicity that gets WWE, not even just WWE NXT. Forget about WWE actually. The free publicity that gets for a brand like NXT, that's invaluable. That's invaluable. And Pat McAfee, he's a fan. He's a fan. I love me some Pat McAfee. The guy can talk, and his promo he did last week, some of the promos he did during his feud with Adam Cole, I just thought was absolutely brilliant. I'm a Pat McAfee mark. Write it on the shirt. I love me some Pat McAfee. But of course, we've only had one match so far. That was for the NXT North American Championship, and that was having a brand new NXT North American Champion, as Johnny Gargano has defeated Damian Priest after interference from the Grim Reaper, they're calling him, a guy dressed as Scream, or woman, could possibly be a woman. Brian says that AEW is great so far. I don't have AEW on, obviously. I'm just doing the NXT watch along. I will be watching AEW probably at this point, probably tomorrow morning, considering it's late over here in the UK. But I have no doubts. It's very good. What are we thinking of Halloween Havoc so far? If you are enjoying the show, smash a like on the like button as well. If you're surprised or shocked that Johnny Gargano is the new North American champion, put a like on the like button as well there. As we have a Geico, there you go, promotion, a Geico plug here, and we're seeing a promo package about Finn Balor, his history of NXT. There's a picture of him now with the old NXT championship. Of course, he is the current NXT champion. We don't know the situation when it comes to Finn Balor at the moment. He has a broken jaw. He got his jaw broken at NXT TakeOver 31. He has had surgery on said broken jaw. I guess we're going to find out, as the time ticks away, we're going to find out if he's going to have to relinquish the title or not. I hope not. That NXT championship is just cursed at this point. The irony that he won the title because someone had to vacate it after a couple of days, Karrion Kross, is so parallel to his Universal Championship vacating of the title in 2016. It's fascinating, but we'll have to wait and see. So we see Cameron Grimes, he's backstage with William Regal here. Obviously Cameron Grimes is going to be facing Dexter Lumis later tonight. And William Regal is leading Cameron Grimes to the parking lot for his match against Dexter Lumis. I am looking forward to this one. I'm a big fan of Dexter Lumis, not just because I'm a fan of the Dexter TV show as well. But here we go, in ring we have Pat McAfee with the new NXT Tag Team Champions, Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch. We're going to get a Pat McAfee promo here. We're going to get a masterpiece from Pat McAfee in the promo department here. He's so hateable as well, isn't he? Pat McAfee saying that last week was the second greatest moment in NXT history. The first one was NXT TakeOver 30, where we had Pat McAfee's match. He is such a heat seeker. He's calling it the greatest debut in the history of this business. Bar none, he is calling it. He's taking shots at the internet wrestling community now. He says, even the idiots of the internet wrestling community, that's you and I. That's you and I. He's taking shots at us. And also, the people in attendance, there was Izzy. She was in the crowd. But Pat McAfee, he's great. He's calling people in the crowd. He's calling people in the crowd losers and stooges. and taking more shots at the internet wrestling community. I'm surprised he's allowed to say that on TV. They don't like to reference or mention the IWC. But it looks like his feud with Adam Cole doesn't look to be over, because Pat McAfee is calling out Adam Cole once again, or saying that Adam Cole refused to shake his hand. Calling Adam Cole a scumbag here. Talking about Adam Cole coming in and flexing on top of him. So we're going to get a Pat McAfee versus Adam Cole rematch. You know what? I hope so. I hope so. I'd be down for seeing it again. He's saying that as he was flying back from his match at NXT TakeOver 30, all he kept thinking was that Adam Cole was, how big of a bum Adam Cole was. He's always doing a bit of an Enzo Amore. He keeps saying how you doing after every line. He keeps saying how you doing after everyone. He's going full Enzo. Don't go full Enzo, Pat. You will not last in this company. But he's talking about having 1 million subscribers on YouTube after just talking about sports into a microphone. Is that the case? Does he have over 1 million subscribers on YouTube? That's pretty badass. Again, proves my point. You can't tell me he's not of a benefit to WWE and NXT. This is a guy, he's got reach. He's got reach. Doesn't Pat McAfee have more Twitter followers than the entirety of the NXT Twitter account? Of course, Pat McAfee, he's talking about how he paid off Ridge Holland to attack Adam Cole. I think I'm assuming at this point we would have had Oney Lorcan, Danny Burch, and Ridge Holland in this faction with Pat McAfee, but of course Ridge Holland is injured, which sucks. He's just talked about Ridge Holland fracturing his leg in 700 pieces. It sucks for Ridge Holland because he had a huge upside. He said his T's and P's are with Ridge Holland. Thoughts and prayers, just in case you didn't know. Because I guess that if we'd have had a faction here of Pat McAfee, Oney Lorcan, and Danny Burch and Ridge Holland, that makes 4 guys. That would have gone against Undisputed Era, that being 4 guys. Potentially, you could have had a Survivor Series elimination tag team match between those 4 guys if you wanted to mix. Not that NXT is going to be part of Survivor Series, but you could have done that. And obviously, Ridge Holland is not part of it now. Ian Thompson says, have you heard about Wrestle Kingdom 15? There's going to be 20,000 fans there. Is that true? That would be crazy. I don't know what the situation is like in Japan, in fairness. But here we go. Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch have microphones, but the Undisputed Era's music is just about to hit because the Undisputed Era is about to make their way out to the ring. As we hear the classic Undisputed Era theme. Remember, that's a CFO theme. If that changes, then we can riot. It's only Kyle O'Reilly. By all accounts, the rest of Undisputed Era is on the mend. So it's just Kyle O'Reilly on the way out. I wouldn't be stunned if it's not just Kyle O'Reilly. Can you think that Kyle O'Reilly is going to be out there on his own? Kyle O'Reilly, of course, after his NXT TakeOver 31 Classic against Finn Balor. What a match that was. Whoa, no way. It's Pete Dunne. That's Pete Dunne's music. There is no way. There he is. Pete Dunne is here. Pete Dunne is back in the United States, and Pete Dunne looks to be absolutely jacked. Pete Dunne has been on NXT UK the last few weeks. He's been involved in the Walter and Ilya Dragunov feud. He's been doing the refereeing for the NXT UK Heritage Championship. We haven't seen Pete Dunne since March in NXT over here in the United States. Obviously, he's been quarantined over in the United Kingdom, or he's been locked over there. I'm guessing the travel between the United States and US is not as bad now because there is Pete Dunne. And if you haven't seen Pete Dunne in NXT UK recently, he has been absolutely jacked beyond belief. And Pete Dunne has just handed Kyle O'Reilly a chair. Here we go. The odds have been evened because Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch, Pat McAfee are on the ring apron. Kyle O'Reilly and Pete Dunne have chairs. Great to see Pete Dunne back in that NXT ring in the United States. He is a big star waiting to happen. Oh my God. Pete Dunne has just hit Kyle O'Reilly in the back. It looks to me like Pete Dunne is aligned. There's a kick to the face of Kyle O'Reilly. Pete Dunne is with Pat McAfee and Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch. We have more members of this Pat McAfee faction. Pete Dunne. It could have been Pete Dunne, Ridge Holland, Danny Burch and Oney Lorcan. But like a pack of wolves, they are attacking Kyle O'Reilly. So Pete Dunne is officially a heel. He's back and he is a heel in NXT in the United States. And he is stomping the how out of Kyle O'Reilly's face. And Pat McAfee is loving it. We're getting it all tonight. We're getting a new North American champion. Pete Dunne's back. We've got a heel turn for Pete Dunne. Has turned his back on Kyle O'Reilly. Man, Pete Dunne is jacked as well. He is in some shape. Joint manipulation on Kyle O'Reilly. Oh my God, he's going to stamp on his elbow here. Oh my God. You cringe because that is nasty. My oh my. So we have a faction, ladies and gentlemen. We have a faction here. Oney Lorcan, Danny Burch has got Kyle O'Reilly up. Oney Lorcan is on the shoulder. Here we go. Oh, it's going to be onto the steel chair that Pat McAfee is laying down. Oh my God. And Pat McAfee is directing traffic. What do you call this faction? If you're surprised that Pete Dunne has returned, he's not only returned, but he's attacked Kyle O'Reilly, click a like on this video. They say they are the new leaders on this brand. That is undisputed. Pat McAfee calling him Cauliflower Kyle O'Reilly. What a segment that is, and what a statement that is. We have a faction. We have a faction. My oh my. Big stuff happening in this Halloween Havoc so far. William Regal is backstage with Cameron Grimes once again. Cameron Grimes is begging William Regal to come with him into the parking lot. Of course, Cameron Grimes is set to face Dexter Lumis tonight. What a segment. I can't get over that. Pete Dunne. He's back and he's turned heel. Cameron Grimes is out in the parking lot. But he's got his match against Dexter Lumis tonight. Cameron Grimes is getting picked up in a van. A really run-down white van. Oh, God. It's being driven by some scary dude. It's Michael P.S. Hayes. It's Michael Hayes. What's going on? Michael Hayes is here. There's a scary van being driven by a scary guy. Michael Hayes has popped out. He's just given the free bird. What is going on? He's wearing some Halloween Havoc orange along with the fanny pack, of course. It's Michael P.S. Hayes. Obviously, the history that Michael Hayes has with Halloween Havoc as well. WCW Jim Crockett Promotions. And Cameron Grimes has got into the van and driving off. But we got Michael P.S. Hayes. What is going on? What is going on? What a couple of segments that was. What a show this is, man. We've got a new NXT North American champion in Johnny Gargano because someone dressed as Scream attacked Damian Priest. You got the return of Pete Dunne to NXT in the United States. You got Pete Dunne turning on Kyle O'Reilly and attacking him. We've got a new faction of Pat McAfee, Oney Lorcan, Danny Burch, and Pete Dunne. We've got Cameron Grimes versus Dexter Lumis up next. Michael P.S. Hayes was just dropped off by a crazy man in a beat-down white van. He was dressed in orange, Halloween Havoc orange, along with the fanny pack. I mean, what a show we have so far. What are we? We're only about an hour in. We're not even an hour into the show. We're like 45 minutes into this show. We've got so much craziness already. So far, I am enjoying this show so far. Credit to NXT. They're going all out. They know people are going to be watching tonight. This is going to be a show, in my opinion, that gets total viewership victory over AEW Dynamite. Not the demo, but total viewership victory. So they are loading this show up with matches and moments, and you have to credit them for that. Manos says it was too early, Matt Riddle and Keith Lee, to go to the main roster. NXT roster right now is kind of weak. That's why AEW wins every week. Well, I think you're partially right there. I think the NXT roster is a bit weak right now, but I've been saying this for a while. If WWE truly, in their heart of hearts, wanted NXT to beat AEW Dynamite every single week, what would they do? They would put real stars on the show. Now, I don't mean to discredit the likes of Damian Priest, Io Shirai, Finn Balor, etc. If they wanted to beat AEW Dynamite, they would put a big star on the show. They would put an AJ Styles on the show. They would put a Kevin Owens, a Randy Orton, a big name. They would put it on the NXT brand. Because you have to weigh this up. In comparison, you have some of the biggest stars in NXT right now, Finn Balor and Adam Cole. Right, they're probably the two biggest stars right on the show right now. In comparison, over on Dynamite, you've got Chris Jericho and Jon Moxley, two former world champions. You've got Cody in there, Miro. I mean, legit Kenny Omega, legitimate drawing stars that if any of them were signed to WWE contracts right now, they wouldn't be on NXT. So what chance has NXT really got? Because they're going up against legitimate draws. So if NXT ever, or WWE ever really wanted to truly compete, they would put big stars on NXT, and that will never happen. That will never happen. And the proof is in the pudding that the draw is there, because when Raw and SmackDown invaded NXT last year in the Build to Survivor Series, NXT won the total viewership because they had bigger stars on the show. That's the way to beat AEW Dynamite in this. They just don't have big enough draws. That's the case. That's the case. But what a show so far. What a show. If you are enjoying this, please do subscribe to Wrestling News 365. Click the bottom right hand corner. Let's do a live check of how many subscribers we're on. Right now, on the road to 1,100. We are one subscriber away. One subscriber away from 1,100. So if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to Wrestling News 365. You could be the 1,100 subscriber. I wish there was something special for that, but you can just, your prize is knowing that you were the first ever, you were the 1,100 subscriber. So if you are new, please do subscribe. We'll be doing a lot more watch-alongs, including a SmackDown watch-along on Friday, as we are back live now. As in-ring, we have Jake Atlas, which means that we're going to have Santos Escobar versus Jake Atlas up next. Santos Escobar, of course, the NXT Cruiserweight champion. I mean, is he the, at this point, he's the NXT Cruiserweight champion, but is he the NXT interim Cruiserweight champion? What's the deal with Santos Escobar at this point? Because I know that Jordan Devlin has returned on NXT UK, or is returning soon. I mean, say about that what you will. I don't know about you as well. I'm pretty bummed out about the pumpkin still. There was a pumpkin there. In the grand scheme of things, it was a very sucky pumpkin. I'll be honest. It was a sucky pumpkin. And then Johnny Gargano killed it in about 2 seconds. And all I wanted was a pumpkin. And I suppose I kind of got it. I kind of got my wish. But it was like that meme, isn't it? I want Halloween Havoc pumpkin. We've got Halloween Havoc pumpkin at home. And you see that. And then you get in there and the trick-or-treater stabs it. And it... Great. Santos Escobar is wearing Rey Mysterio Halloween Havoc 1997 inspired gear, which is, bravo, one of the greatest matches of all time. Rey Mysterio, Eddie Guerrero, Halloween Havoc 1997. If you've never seen that match, you have never lived. I am imploring you, to my younger fans out there that may not have seen it, to go and watch that match, Halloween Havoc 1997. If you're going to watch one match this week, you're going to watch Halloween Havoc 97, Rey Mysterio, Eddie Guerrero, one of the best matches of all time. And Santos Escobar is wearing that inspired gear tonight, including with, looks like, the question marks too. He's not wearing the full suit, but he's wearing the tights for it. And also you have Santos, what was that? He was whipped into the corner and Santos Escobar went for the knee, but Jake Atlas was already sort of out of the corner at that point, so I'm not really sure what that was. But Santos Escobar and Legado del Fantasma also have half their face painted, like was it the Dead Presidents. same as Santana and Ortiz had a couple of weeks ago. There are the knees to the chest by Escobar to Atlas. I don't know about you when it comes to the Cruiserweight division. I feel like at this point that the options feel a bit limited to me on NXT. The Cruiserweight division had so much promise. When you think about that Cruiserweight Classic 2016, now it just feels like, I mean, what are your options on NXT? What are your options for 205 Live? I feel at this point that there isn't a lot of care there about the NXT Cruiserweight Championship. That might just be me. I'm not a regular 205 Live watcher, I must say, because you can only consume so much pro wrestling. But I feel like there was a lot of damage done to that show. Although, I must say, there was a period of time on 205 Live where it was a damn good show. When you had Murphy, Mustafa Ali, Cedric Alexander. You look back on that show, for a period of time, that was red hot. But no one watched. Jake Atlas is on a bit of a fight back here. Back body drop to Santos Escobar. I'm digging that gear though. You can't beat a good throwback. A bit of a not a body slam there. It was like half a body slam. This is a non-title match, remember, of course. As Atlas hits a nice uppercut there. Snap German suplex to Santos Escobar 2. He's going to go for a forearm. Here we go. Forearm's going to get a 2 count, I think, though. Yeah, he kicks out at 2. My mind is still racing after that return of Pete Dunne. And the turn on Kyle O'Reilly and formation of that new faction. What is that going to be named? Oh my God. That was incredible. Cartwheel DDT from the top rope onto Santos Escobar. But Escobar's foot is put on the bottom rope there. But you would say there that Jake Atlas had the Cruiserweight Champion beat. Oh, it's an incredible move. Cartwheel DDT from the top rope. Atlas is going for a dive to the outside onto Legado del Fantasma. Onto Wild and Mendoza. A heck of a move a minute ago. Hits a forearm once again to Escobar. He's fighting off Mendoza and Wild. And there we go. We've had the headbutt by Mendoza onto Jake Atlas with the loaded mask. The loaded lucha mask. And here we go. Santos Escobar plants Atlas, and that's going to be the free count. But we see the loaded mask again. What are your thoughts on Santos Escobar having to use the loaded mask there? I felt that considering this was a non-title match, this is a match all about getting over the Cruiserweight Champion. Does he really need to have a loaded mask to beat an underling in the division? It's a bit of a strange booking decision there for me. But Santos Escobar gets the win in his badass Rey Mysterio Halloween Havoc 97 gear. The NXT Cruiserweight Champion, of course, that was non-title. But it looks like we're going to have a promo package of Ember Moon here. Of course, Ember Moon returned to NXT TakeOver 31. Ember Moon, so glad she's back. So glad she's back. Top performer. There was a lot of concern about her for a while. Obviously, she was out with a torn Achilles, which is a nasty, nasty injury. That can put people on the shelf for, a year. It's absolute brutal injury, but she is back. Glad she's on NXT because I think it gives her a spotlight to shine. If she'd have gone back to Raw or SmackDown, what would she be doing right now? I think that is a genuine concern because you have to say that if they're allowed back to NXT, that to me says that WWE isn't interested in using them. There's Shotzi Blackheart, who says up next is the Haunted House of Terror, which means Dexter Lumis versus Cameron Grimes is up next. A Haunted House of Terror. What does this mean? This to me means cinematic. So the Haunted House of Terror between Grimes and Lumis is up next. I'm guessing when we come back from commercial. This is going to be certainly unique, isn't it? It's certainly going to be unique between Cameron Grimes and Dexter Lumis. I am a big, big fan of Dexter Lumis. Dexter Lumis, for me, he's just so unique. He is so unique and he's so different. I've been a fan of Sam Shaw for a while. I felt that this character, this Dexter Lumis character, to be honest, has been going on, since, want to say since like 2013 Impact Wrestling. I mean, it is a character that he has had in his mind for a very, very long time. And obviously, the clue is in the name. It is inspired by the TV show Dexter. If you go back and watch those Samuel Shaw vignettes and storylines back in Impact Wrestling back in sort of 2012, 2013, it was very, very Dexter Morgan in the sense that he wore the exact same gear. He wore, the gloves, the sort of dark passenger shirt, all that kind of deal. It was heavily inspired by that. I like this Dexter Lumis version in NXT more because it's a bit of a departure from just being a Dexter Morgan ripoff. Obviously, it pays homage to it with the Dexter Lumis name, but it's a little bit different. And I think that's where you need to lie when it comes to professional wrestling. Absolutely, still with pride when it comes to certain ideas in professional wrestling. They've been doing it for years. Sting, the Crow Sting, is a rip-off from the film The Crow, but you had the elements of Sting in there that made it unique and different. And I think that's the same with this Dexter Lumis. Yes, you have the homage and all the stuff like that to the Dexter Morgan element of it, but then you've got the Sam Shaw in there because you've got like the art stuff, and he's obviously a legitimate artist. You've got the mustache and the sort of the gloves and all that sort of stuff. I think it works, and he focuses more on the eyes. He has the creepy a million mile stare. I just think that's so unique and so different to anything out there right now, especially in WWE, but just out there in general. I think it's fantastic. Elijah says, hello Guy, how you doing, Elijah? Thanks for joining us here tonight. If you are new to the channel, guys, be sure to subscribe. We are 1 subscriber away from 1,100 subscribers, so you could be the 1,100th subscriber to Wrestling News 365. All you have to do is click the bottom right-hand corner of the screen right now. If you have enjoyed this video, or you're enjoying Halloween Havoc, or you're just excited for Halloween, be sure to smash a like on the like button as well. That really just helps out here on YouTube. Super chats, of course, are open. You just click the $ in the live chat. Any donations are very much appreciated and welcomed by the channel. So obviously, as I mentioned, up next we have the Haunted House of Terror match between Cameron Grimes and Dexter Lumis. I'm interested when it comes to Cameron Grimes as well. He's, again, I know him best as, or you would know him best as Trevor Lee in Impact Wrestling, former X Division champion. Enjoyed his work there, and I was very curious to see how his WWE career went because he was always great in the ring, but when you see the look of him, just physically what he looks like, I think you just know that Vince McMahon would look at him and be like, oh no, because he's not a Vince McMahon guy in terms of the way he looks, etc. But I think what he's really improved on since coming to NXT is that his character work and his promo work has just gone up another level. He's a really super entertaining character, and I think he does a fantastic job. So I'm excited to see the futures of both these guys as we're just returning from commercial once again. Here we go. We're going to have the Haunted House of Terror as Shotzi Blackheart is back. Is there anyone better than Shotzi Blackheart to host this NXT Halloween Havoc episode? She absolutely, I mean, talk about perfect casting. There's no one better than Shotzi Blackheart to host this episode of Halloween Havoc. As we have the Haunted House of Terror match, which is going to be very cinematic. As we're seeing, we've also already got like horror movie titles on the screen here. As the creepy white van is dropping off Cameron Grimes here. Of course, the creepy white van that had Michael P.S.A's in earlier on tonight. Elijah says, how do you feel about Money Moose? I'd like to hear your thoughts on the Impact last night. We'll be doing a video over the coming days about that, my friend. And here is Cameron Grimes. He's been dropped off, and he says he's coming for Dexter Lumis. You have to wonder, where is Dexter Lumis in all of this? As you have a swinging seat there to scare Cameron Grimes. He's saying about you're going to need more than that to scare, and he's done the whole Cameron Grimes. See, this is what I think is great. I think Trevor Lee, like Cameron Grimes, is just Up it. Well, there is Dexter Lumis. He's in the tree. Cameron, you can't see him. Cameron Grimes is looking for him. Dexter Lumis is up in the tree. We've got Marilyn Manson playing in the background as the soundtrack. I don't mind me some of that. Obviously, this is 2020, the year of the cinematic match. They have been, mostly on the whole, they've been very good. We've seen some terrible ones. Cameron Grimes is jumpy at everything, including like a taxidermied animal on the wall. There is a tricycle. There is a tricycle with a bell moving on its own that is spooky Cameron Grimes. I'd be scared too, quite frankly. A door is opening slightly. It's Dexter Lumis, who looks to be stalking his victim. Here we go. Cameron Grimes keeps saying the Cameron Grimes deal. Cameron Grimes is searching for Dexter Lumis, can't find him. Dexter Lumis is behind him. There's a referee in the corner. There's a referee in the corner of the room facing the corner. Oh, God. Cameron Grimes asked the referee if it was pinfall or submission. The referee turned around and looks like a zombie. I don't know what. He's been staying in that performance center too long. Stay away from that performance center. That's what happens. Get out of there. No outbreak. Dexter Lumis, though, has finally got his hands on Cameron Grimes here. Cameron Grimes managed to fight back. He's just thrown Dexter Lumis. Looks to be into... What is that? That fireplace? And now he's escaping the room. And Dexter Lumis is trying to get out here. But Cameron Grimes is holding the door. Cameron Grimes is... he's hightailing it out there. Dexter Lumis is going to break the door down. Jeez. Now Cameron Grimes has locked himself into what looks to be a bathroom now. The lights are on though. Oh, there's someone in the shower. And Cameron Grimes looks to be happy that someone's in the shower. He says, look what we have here. He's taking his jacket off. This is meant to be PG. He says, I didn't know Dexter Lumis had a sister. And what is behind that curtain? Who is that? It's some crazy woman, like looks like from The Grudge. Or The Ring. Jeez. What is going on? Cameron Grimes came ready to shower is one of the most hilarious things I've ever seen. He said he's feeling a bit grimy himself, Cameron Grimes. But he got freaked out by the ring lady. Oh, here comes Dexter Lumis. He's going to attack Cameron Grimes through the window. Got locked in that submission hold. They're brawling through the house right now. This is the craziest thing I've ever seen. And Cameron Grimes is looking to get away from Lumis once again. As they are going through this haunted house. Oh my God. There is more people, like crazy horror zombie people in this house. What's concerning is that Michael PSA's got a ride from this house. What has he been doing in there? And he looks fine. Cameron Grimes has managed to fight off Dexter Lumis once again. They're in the kitchen now. What I enjoy about this is obviously NXT have had to rent out a building for a day. There we go. There is someone else once again. Oh, it's another ring lady or grudge lady or a zombie who looks to be chasing Cameron Grimes here. There's someone on the top of the fridge freezer who has dived on Cameron Grimes here. I'm not making any of this up. This is legitimately happening on TV right now. She's got Cameron Grimes in a sleeper hold, and Cameron Grimes is now in the outside of the building. He's managed to go through one of the screens there, and he just threw this zombie lady over a fence. Here are more zombies, including the referee. How do you even win this match? Cameron Grimes is going to try and get back in the van. I don't blame him. Cameron Grimes is back in the van, only to find Dexter Lumis at the steering wheel. Dexter Lumis, it looks to be, is he going to pursue him in the van? Cameron Grimes has just ran off into the dark wood, and it says to be continued. What on earth was that? I mean, Bad News Barrett calls it the weirdest match he's ever seen. I was crazy. I was crazy. I don't know. Was that good or was that bad? I tell you what was good about that was Cameron Grimes' performance. Cameron Grimes muttering the Cameron Grimes stuff was pretty damn entertaining, I must say that. That's what I'm saying. Like that wasn't a part of Trevor Lee before he came to NXT. He has developed this Cameron Grimes character, and it's fantastic to see. It really is. Looks like we're gonna have Rhea Ripley versus Raquel Gonzalez as next, because there is Rhea Ripley backstage. This is going to be something special. These are the two most dominating females in NXT right now. Argue maybe NXT history too. We always talk about we like to see big guys face off. It's the same with dominating females. That's what we want to see. This is going to be a lot of fun, I think. It's interesting around Rhea Ripley. I always thought that she would be bound for the main roster very, very soon, especially after WrestleMania. You think WrestleMania, she had a match against Charlotte Flair. Now, obviously, she lost, and looking back on it, was that whole deal to get Charlotte Flair something to do at WrestleMania to get her over? Maybe. But for me, it felt like it was inevitable coming out of WrestleMania she would be on Monday Night Raw with Charlotte Flair, and it's interesting to think what would have happened or what could have happened if we weren't living in the pandemic world right now, because surely it feels inevitable. It feels inevitable that we would have seen Rhea Ripley on Monday Night Raw. Yeah, it feels inevitable. She's getting pyro on Monday Night Raw. I think like one of the last entrances she did on Raw in front of a live paying crowd all those millions of years ago, she had pyro. Like there must have been plans for her post WrestleMania to be on the main roster. There must have been. It feels like an inevitability that there must have been. And yet here we are. We're in October and she's still in NXT. That's very, very surprising to me. Now I know post WrestleMania there by all accounts might have been some issues when it comes to like work visas or something like that. There was a rumor that she had to go back to Australia, but I don't know if that actually was the case, because she returned to WWE and NXT very, very quickly. So I don't know the legitimacy of that, but I just think it's very surprising she's still in NXT. I felt that she was on a trajectory straight to the absolute top, or at least at the very, very least the main roster, and she's still in NXT right now. I think that's very surprising, and they could use her. They could absolutely use her on the main roster. I think the women's division on both Raw and SmackDown is actually quite light at the moment. They are hurting, especially, look, the WrestleMania 35 main event in 2019 in New Jersey was Ronda Rousey versus Becky Lynch versus Charlotte Flair. If they wanted to do that main event today, they couldn't. All three of those females are not on the active WWE roster right now. Obviously, Becky Lynch is on maternity leave. Charlotte Flair is out with an injury. She is going to be back very, very soon, though. And Ronda Rousey has been out since that WrestleMania. Those three stars who WWE, by putting them in that position, felt like they were the three biggest female stars in the company at that point, worthy of a WrestleMania main event. They can't even do that today because none of them are on the active roster. You can't tell me that doesn't hurt the women's division. So, yes, absolutely. WWE could and would want to have Rhea Ripley on the main roster. I'm very surprised she's not. Given the spot that she was in earlier this year. It felt inevitable. It felt inevitable that even if Charlotte Flair won, we would get the rematches on the main roster, and we just haven't. We haven't, which is, to me, just very, very surprising. Very, very surprising. As we'll be back from commercial air in a few seconds, it looks like. Obviously, as I mentioned, Raquel Gonzalez and Rhea Ripley is up next. Let's check in on the chat. Elijah says Shotzi is a star. She has a different gimmick to her than all of women wrestlers. That's a good point. It's a very good point. She's certainly unique. She has a different look. I think her work in the ring is decent. It's not amazing. I think there's still room for improvement there, as you would say. But I think she absolutely has a unique look, and she absolutely is different to a lot of the different workers on the roster. Kevin Avery says, "Can you see Mercedes Martinez in NXT UK?" because right now they have too many women in NXT. I don't know. I think she was moved back to NXT because she was going to be a coach at the Performance Center. I think that was the main thing there. I think she dodged a bullet. She absolutely dodged a bullet by not being in the Retribution storyline, because let's be honest, who at this point can they salvage that Retribution storyline? I don't know if they can. I think Mercedes Martinez did really well in NXT. Speaking of Rhea Ripley, I've really enjoyed that steel cage main event they had between Mercedes Martinez and Rhea Ripley. I wouldn't mind them seeing them readdress that in the future. I think that could be a lot of fun. As we're back and we see Raquel Gonzalez make her way to the ring, as we're going to have Raquel Gonzalez versus Rhea Ripley very soon. So who do we think is going to win this one? Well, of course, we have Raquel Gonzalez and Rhea Ripley, two of the most dominant female NXT superstars right now. We'll double check how many subscribers we have. We officially have 1,100 subscribers. We have hit our total for the night. Thank you everyone that has subscribed to WrestleNews 365. You can do that by clicking the bottom right hand corner of the screen right now. If you are new, we are going to be doing more watch-alongs on the channel soon. We're going to be doing a watch-along for Friday Night SmackDown, obviously Monday Night Raw. Wednesday's still undecided. Do you want to watch NXT or do you want to watch AEW? Let me know in the comment section and live chat. Usually I do watch AEW Dynamite on Wednesdays, but depending on how this NXT stream goes, we might continue watching NXT on Wednesday nights here. And Rhea Ripley and Raquel Gonzalez are starting this match off quickly. I mean, these two females would absolutely dominate, you would think, on the main roster. I think it'd be interesting to see. I know not a lot of people like Nia Jax. I think it'd be fascinating to see a feud between someone like Rhea Ripley and Nia Jax, two absolute powerhouses. I think Raquel Gonzalez as well, you have to consider her improvement recently in NXT. New World Order says that House of Horrors match was absolutely hilarious. I agree. It was totally unique and totally different. And I thought it was like, you know what? I thought it was fun. I thought Cameron Grimes absolutely stole the show. I thought it was fantastic. As Raquel Gonzalez hits a forearm to the back of Rhea Ripley there. Of course, Raquel Gonzalez is associated with Dakota Kai in NXT. No Dakota Kai at ringside in this one. It's interesting to, well, I guess we'll find out in the coming days. It'll be interesting to find out what were these changes to the shows that Dave Meltzer was talking about. Of course, there were changes to the shows that were made because of the latest outbreak at the WWE Performance Center, as Rhea Ripley and Dakota Kai are getting into a bit of a slugfest here. Ian Thompson says Undisputed Era need a fifth member. I doubt that will happen unless it's Kevin Owens, which isn't going to happen anytime soon. Raquel Gonzalez is pulling Rhea Ripley to the mat there by the little. Oof. Some of these stomps that Raquel Gonzalez is kicking towards Rhea Ripley right now are fierce. And Raquel Gonzalez is looking for a suplex here. Rhea Ripley looking for one of her own. Raquel Gonzalez making. Oh, Rhea Ripley lands on her feet though. Going for a clothesline. Of course, we still have a lot of big matches left tonight here on NXT Halloween Havoc. We still have part 2 of Cameron Grimes versus Dexter Lumis. We also have what I'm assuming is the main event between Io Shirai and Candice LeRae for the NXT Women's Championship. All that still to come, and probably some more too. Raquel Gonzalez going for the clothesline. Rhea Ripley hits a drop kick and Gonzalez rolls to the outside of the ring. Rhea Ripley drop kick to Raquel Gonzalez, who is up against the announce table right now. We've got Bad News Barrett and Where's Waldo there, which is obviously Wade Barrett and Vic Joseph. Oof. Rhea Ripley was going for a rolling senton. Gonzalez caught. Here we go. Oh. Raquel Gonzalez just powerbombed Rhea Ripley into the plexiglass around the outside of the arena and then threw her to the floor. My oh my. As we go to yet another commercial. Who doesn't love commercials, right? Not me. Kevin Avery says, I wish WWE replaced Lana and Dana Brooke for Mia Yim and Nikki Cross. Oh, let's talk about that Mia Yim. I mean, what was that on Monday Night Raw, right? That Mia Yim possession, fit. They said that like it was obviously just a ploy to get MVP eliminated, but man, Mia Yim, she goes from having great matches in NXT to faking a possession or seizure on Monday Night Raw as part of the Retribution angle. I mean, at this point, if you're in NXT, do you actually want to get called up to Raw and SmackDown? Because what are the benefits? What are the benefits? You see all of those guys get called up from NXT to be part of Retribution, Dominik Dijakovic, Mia Yim, Dio Madden, Shane Thorne, and they're in a terrible gimmick. See Keith Lee get drafted, or get called up rather, from NXT to Raw. It looked positive for a little while, but they change his look, they change his entrance music, they change everything about him, and then he just has a million no contests and a couple of victories. You have Matt Riddle get called up to SmackDown, and look again, promising start. He's already been drafted to Raw, and there's all of the baggage that comes with him. It's just you do wonder what is it really worth being called up? Because sometimes, I don't know, for better or for worse, it might not be the best thing for you. Kevin Avery says, you have any update about Finn Balor? I don't. Not anything that we've heard reported or something that NXT or WWE have released. I think, again, I really hope he doesn't have to give it up. I think the fact that they're giving themselves time would indicate that it's not as severe as previously thought. What I will say is, though, that if he's underwent surgery for it a couple of weeks ago. If he's underwent surgery to fix that broken jaw, like that's going to take time to recover. Even if it's something minor, they obviously have faith that by the time the next takeover comes around, which I believe is in December, I want to say at the start of December, they have faith that he will have recovered by then. I think also a factor into it is that they don't want to do two superstars relinquishing it so quickly. Obviously, you had Karrion Kross had to relinquish it because of the dislocated shoulder. And then also you don't want to have Finn Balor relinquish it straight away after that. But the problem then becomes how long do you keep your NXT champion off of TV for? It's a very, very difficult situation. So I'm sure we'll find out more about that, as I said, in the coming weeks as we get closer to TakeOver. Again, I think there is a TakeOver around the start of December. I think there is one tentatively penciled in then. And either at that show we'll have Finn Balor defending the title, or we'll have two people competing for it because it'll be relinquished by then. So we're going to find out very, very soon about it. Todd says this Havoc is pretty damn good. You know what? I agree. I think usually I don't watch NXT live. If I watch anything live on a Wednesday, it's AEW. But I must say this Halloween Havoc has been pretty enjoyable. I think it has been pretty damn good. Todd also says Priest next in line for Balor's title. I would love to see that. I mentioned that earlier on tonight after Damian Priest lost the North American Championship. That would certainly free him up to enter that NXT Championship picture. As we are back now from commercial, and Raquel Gonzalez has Rhea Ripley in a bit of looks like a gory stretch. A version of a gory stretch there, but Rhea Ripley's rolled through here. Raquel Gonzalez rolls out though at 2. If you are new to the channel, be sure to subscribe, bottom right hand corner, as Raquel Gonzalez just a clubbing blow to the back of the head of Rhea Ripley there. If you are enjoying Halloween Havoc, as New World Order has just said, I love this Halloween Havoc. If you are enjoying Halloween Havoc, be sure to smash a like on the like button. Easy for me to say. Really just help us out here on YouTube, go up the rankings, get to people's recommendation feeds if they haven't seen our videos or live streams previously. As Raquel Gonzalez, you can obviously tell that Raquel Gonzalez is a bit green in the ring. I mean, it's obvious to see, but I think oh my God, she just clotheslined Rhea Ripley. That was a vicious clothesline. Obviously, there is some greenness there, but I think she's I think in every match that I've seen her in, she does a good job. I think it comes to her booking as well. I think the way that NXT presents her is very, very smart. Obviously, extenuating the positives, hiding the negatives when it comes to the way that they present her. And Rhea Ripley just backdrops Raquel Gonzalez in there. Of course, the issue you have a lot of the time when you do have two bigger superstars facing off against each other, especially strength and sort of dominating superstars facing off against each other is that the match can be quite slow. You have to make up on it with physicality, and that's what they're doing here. As Rhea Ripley is hitting some knees to the face of Raquel Gonzalez. And Raquel Gonzalez is being thrown to the floor right now by Rhea Ripley. New World Order says, liked and subscribed. This watch along is super chill and I'm digging it. Appreciate that, New World Order. You can follow their example by liking the video and subscribing. We're going to be doing a lot more watch alongs, starting with SmackDown on Fridays, Raw on Mondays, NXT or AEW on Wednesdays, pay-per-view watch-alongs as well. Full Gear's coming up in a couple of weeks. AEW Full Gear will be doing a watch-along for that. And of course, Survivor Series. Survivor Series will be doing a watch-along for that. And we also have daily videos come out on the channel too. So if you subscribe, you won't miss any of those videos, any of those watch-alongs or live streams. So be sure to like and subscribe and click that notification bell. As Rhea Ripley has the upper hand right now, it looks like she's stomping on Raquel Gonzalez, looking like she's going to go for that scorpion submission. Here we go. It's the inverted cloverleaf. Here we go. She's got it locked in. Such an impressive submission. Such an impressive submission. Well, she's rolled through though. Ripley went for a pinfall. Raquel Gonzalez, kick to the face once again. Raquel Gonzalez, I mean, I mentioned that she's a bit green. She is stiff as all hell. And I appreciate that, though. Spinning slam by Gonzalez for a 2 count. As you see some of the live fans in attendance there. There's about 100, give or take 100 live fans in attendance right now. Even though there was an outbreak of 4th and 5 months at the WWE Performance Center in recent days. The fans, I believe, are tested before they go in. But it is concerning, to say the least. I wouldn't be there right now, as we still have the NXT Women's Championship to come later tonight as well, which is of course Io Shirai versus Candice LeRae Spin the Wheel Make the Deal match. We also have part 2 of Cameron Grimes versus Dexter Lumis, which I'm very much looking forward to. That is going to be a lot of fun. At first part was weird, crazy. I thought Cameron Grimes was an absolute star in it, absolutely hilarious. I thought he was absolutely fantastic. But both superstars are on the top rope here. We have Rhea Ripley and Raquel Gonzalez on the top rope. Looks like we're going to be going for something. Rhea Ripley, she's going to go for the riptide from the top rope. But Raquel Gonzalez managed to fight her way out, knee to the skull of Rhea Ripley. I mean, if she'd have done that from the top rope, talk about impressive. That would have been unbelievable. Rhea Ripley's still on the top rope. Raquel Gonzalez, you realise how tall Raquel Gonzalez is, that Rhea Ripley's on the top rope and Raquel Gonzalez isn't that far beneath her. It's absolutely crazy. But Rhea Ripley's going back to the top. Raquel Gonzalez, she's climbed. She climbed the top, and Raquel Gonzalez went to do a Kurt Angle run to the top and belly to belly. Didn't get all of it. I mean, Rhea Ripley had to over-rotate to get over because she was about to land on her head there for a second. She goes to throw and wasn't as forceful as you'd like to see there. Kevin Abreu says, why is the reason that Lana gets dropped on the table 6 times every week? Because the report came out and said that Vince McMahon, Bruce Pritchard and co. think that is a great way to turn Lana babyface. Strange reason, I know. Rhea Ripley has just rolled through a bit of a head scissors onto Raquel Gonzalez into the middle turnbuckle. And Rhea Ripley with a kick to the head of Raquel Gonzalez. Here we go. Rhea Ripley's going to hit the riptide here. Hits the riptide on Raquel Gonzalez. This should be it. And Rhea Ripley gets the victory by the riptide. And Rhea Ripley proves her dominance. It was a fun match. Bit stiff, but a nice match. I said Raquel Gonzalez still green, but I think she did a good job there. Alicia says, why take off Damian Priest? Why does Johnny WWE never build babyface champion? I think that says. I think, like a lot of people have said, and what I said at the time, I think Damian Priest is being put into that main event position. I wouldn't be surprised if that's the reason Damian Priest dropped the North American Championship, because he could be involved in that NXT Championship match very, very soon. Todd says, nice match. New World Order says, good match. Todd also says, Lana eating a table every week is a great gimmick. Well, as I mentioned, by all accounts, Bruce Pritchard, I think Ed Koskey, the lead writers for Raw and the head executive director of Raw, Bruce Pritchard as well, they think that's a way of turning Lana babyface. At this point, I think it's just almost got quite comical, hasn't it? It's like Kenny being killed every week in South Park. But Rhea Ripley standing victorious there after her victory over over Raquel Gonzalez. I'm laughing because Cameron Grimes is running down an empty street as we're back to this Haunted House of Terror match. Cameron Grimes has, by all accounts, sprinted through the woods back to the Capitol Wrestling Center because it looks like we're going to get the second part of this Haunted House of Terror match between Cameron Grimes and Dexter Lumis. It's going to be inside the Capitol Wrestling Center. Man, I am excited. I am excited for this part 2 of this Haunted House of Terror match. And to be fair, this show, this Halloween Havoc has been, you got to give credit to NXT. It's been excellent. It's been absolutely excellent. Every match has been very, very enjoyable. We've had a title change. We've had Pete Dunne returning. And siding with Pat McAfee and his new stable of Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch, now with Pete Dunne. Just imagine they had Rich Holland in there too. That would have been such a fantastic group. We'd have had 3 Brits in there as well. I've basically got to cheer for them. If you got 3 Brits in there, I have to. It's kind of like law. We also had the Raquel Gonzalez match. That was a lot of fun. Santos Escobar versus Jake Atlas. That was what it was. But we've still got, as I mentioned, part 2 of Cameron Grimes versus Dexter Lumis, obviously on the screen right now. And we also have the NXT Women's Championship main event coming up. We also, important to point out, we also have an 8-minute overrun for tonight's show. So that means we're going 8 minutes longer than we would usually. So are we going to get something big? We're going to get a big angle at the end of the show? Or are we just getting 8 minutes over the allotted time because NXT wants those viewers, once they finish watching AEW Dynamite, to come over, check out NXT and hopefully get hooked, potentially. Kevin Abreu says, what is going on with Eva Marie? You know, I don't know, Kevin. I heard those reports like you and everyone else did. I think something to consider when it comes to Eva Marie, and I mentioned this at the time because I think this is really important. You have to kind of look for patterns when it comes to things like this, and there is a pattern forming when it comes to this because you remember a couple of weeks before Eva Marie, that story came out. A couple of weeks before that was the story about Melina. Melina's coming back to WWE. She's going to debut this coming Monday. Now, the following day, Melina came out and said, that's not true. I'm not talking to WWE. Would I come back in the future? Maybe. Look at the Eva Marie story. Pretty much, you can swap out Melina and Eva Marie and put that in there. Eva Marie is coming back. She's going to debut maybe as soon as Monday. To me, again, and Eva Marie could return to WWE. That story might be legitimate. I think it was first reported by Cultaholic, obviously a UK-based YouTube channel and website, very reputable. And I don't think, being in the industry, I've worked for news websites and wrestling news sites and stuff like that. They double check these sources, and I think they would have felt confident that that was a legitimate story. The issue there is that I think, from my opinion, what it looks like is that WWE is, I wouldn't say leaking, but they're giving out certain information about people returning that maybe isn't factually accurate. They're doing this to find out who is leaking information. So if they say to one person, hey, Melina's coming back, they know that Melina isn't coming back, but they know that they've only told that person. If that story comes out, they know exactly who leaked the story. Now, I'm not saying that's exactly the case, but I think that's worth considering because we saw 2 stories very similar, Melina and Eva Marie. They're going to be coming back maybe as soon as this Monday on Raw, and it never happened. So it's curious. It certainly is curious, if anything, that those stories came out and they didn't happen, and they were very, very similar. I think that's something absolutely to consider when you come to that. As I mentioned, Eva Marie, she might come back. Melina might come back. They both might be proven to be correct. The Melina story was reported by PW Insider. The Eva Marie story was reported by Cultaholic. Very reputable, but it's not happened yet. And the proof is in the pudding, as they say when it's stories like that. So we'll have to wait and see. But great question. As we are back on NXT Halloween Havoc, we're going to see Cameron Grimes, Dexter Lumis, Part 2, it looks like. We're seeing a promo here for Walter versus Ilya Dragunov. I believe that match is Thursday, isn't it? Thursday on the WWE Network, we have an NXT UK Championship match between Walter and Ilya Dragunov. I tell you what is great about that NXT UK show from the BT Sports Studios in London is that obviously Walter's famous for his chops, and those chops inside of an empty BT Sports Studio with no crowd and just huge acoustics, they are brutal. So we're going backstage right now. And there's Drake Maverick dressed up as Hollywood Hulk Hogan. And he's talking about his partnership with Killian Dane. He's called the interview a Mean Gene. And he's pointing the U. And someone dressed as Andre the Giant. Oh, there's the Yeti. There's the... They're recreated Halloween Havoc 95, I think. With the Yeti. The Shockmaster's just come in. What is going on? It's the Shockmaster. And it's Killian Dane. It's Killian Dane dressed as the Shockmaster. And he said he's not going to fall over like the Shockmaster did. Excellent. I tell you what, this tag team with Killian Dane and Drake Maverick is money. I mean, who doesn't love a good comedy tag team that can work? Drake Maverick is just falling over dressed as the Shockmaster as well. Drake Maverick as Rockstar Spud in Impact Wrestling was comical. As we have Cameron Grimes is back at the Capitol Wrestling Center. Here we go. By all accounts, he sprinted from this remote forest. I mean, that's a heck of a run. It reminds me of when Jericho returned in 2007 and you had the guy run from... It was from like Orlando to Miami with the torch. It was incredible. Cameron Grimes is back. I keep having to change graphics every 5 seconds. But we're back with Bad News Barrett and Where's Waldo, which is of course Wade Barrett and Vic Joseph. If I hear Vic Joseph say Happy Guy Coen again, I think I'm going to explode. There is a guy... Oh, Cameron Grimes is back. We'll have to change graphics again. Cameron Grimes there, he's in the Capitol Wrestling Center. After sprinting that far, he's collapsed onto one of the Halloween Havoc sets, the graveyard. There's tombstones all around him. He looks to be freaked out by something, though. Off camera, what is it? Oh, he's just freaked out by the set. Oh, no, he's not. He's freaked out by some... There's more zombies. There's more creepy people. There's more creepy people from the ring. They're all crawling him, after him. One of them's doing the crab. He might be related to Bray Wyatt. Cameron Grimes is looking all freaked out. He's telling him to stop. He's telling him to better stop. I don't think it's working. Cameron Grimes is officially in the ring at this point. You've got the crazy people going after him. Uh-oh. Dexter Lumis is behind Cameron Grimes. In fairness, he didn't have a van. He just drove. He probably made it back much quicker. Dexter Lumis has Cameron Grimes, though. Throws him into the corner. And Dexter Lumis is teeing off at this point on Cameron Grimes. Where's the referee? We get a bulldog from Dexter Lumis here. Bad News Barrett says he's going to get out of the way. He says get the car key. Here we go. Spinebuster by Dexter Lumis on Cameron Grimes. There's smoke all around the ring. Feels like an Undertaker entrance. Don't know where all this smoke is coming from, but it's there. Cameron Grimes, the dry ice, Cameron Grimes is actually breathing it out at this point. And look at that shot of Dexter Lumis. You've got the crazy, creepy zombie lady still around the ring. They're grabbing onto Dexter Lumis's leg. It's a bit weird. One of them's got a mustache. Or is it a guy? What is going on? as we have more zombies entering the ring. I mean, I'm not... It sounds like I'm narrating sort of a bad version of Halloween. Here we go. Well, Cameron Grimes has just hit a stomp on one of the zombies. They just took the cave in. And one of the zombie women has climbed Dexter Lumis. Like, she's using him as a bit of a jungle gym here. I mean, what is going on? She wanders up. She's in the electric chair position on Dexter Lumis. She's on his shoulders. Cameron Grimes needs to pull up his jeans as well. We've got nearly a full moon on a different way. And Dexter Lumis just threw a zombie at Cameron Grimes. Cameron Grimes just got dropped by Dexter Lumis. And here we go. Dexter Lumis is going to choke up Cameron Grimes. Legitimately, at this point, I mean, I don't mean to be crass, my friends, my fellow subscribers, but Cameron Grimes also has his just bare behind now on national television. I mean, you see it on the graphic there. There is a moon behind the Halloween Havoc logo, and it's exactly one on my TV screen right now. Find a different angle, cameraman. But Dexter Lumis has just choked out Cameron Grimes. Does that mean he won? I guess so. There are the zombies at ringside. What an odd and strange match. We didn't get finished though, which is kind of disappointing. I guess maybe that's not the point. There was a referee though. There was a referee at the house. Maybe get back to the house. But we have zombies entering the ring. They're coming out of the smoke at this point. They're doing the crab. What an odd match. What an odd presentation. What an odd character in Dexter Lumis. I guess it's in keeping with what you would expect from Dexter Lumis. But the... Wade Barrett just said, "Is that your hand on my leg, Vic?" And he said, "Is that your hand on my leg, Vic?" And Vic said, "No. I don't know what's going on at that announce desk." But we've got the zombies laying around Cameron Grimes. There is dry ice and smoke everywhere. And it's just disappeared into darkness as Dexter Lumis is staring at the camera as we have the end credits come on. So that's the end of the Haunted House of Terror match, I guess. As we obviously have next the NXT Women's Championship on the line. Of course, earlier tonight, Candice LeRae's husband, Johnny Gargano, became the NXT North American Champion. Are we going to have both Garganos with NXT Championship gold before the end of the night? You know what? I could see it happening. I would like Io Shirai to remain NXT Women's Champion, but given that Johnny Gargano became the NXT North American Champion earlier on tonight, I think there is a distinct possibility, a very much distinct possibility at this point, we could have both Garganos as champions at the end of the night. Now, obviously, as I mentioned, I would prefer Io Shirai to remain NXT Women's Champion. However, I must say that if Candice LeRae became NXT Women's Champion, I wouldn't be totally against it. I think Candice LeRae has totally earned it, and she does deserve it. But Io Shirai, she has to be in the conversation as one of the best female wrestlers in the world, right? I mean, she has to be. She's one of the best female wrestlers in WWE and the world. She absolutely is. Todd says Lumis is great. New World Order says Lumis with the clapping emoji. I mean, Dexter Lumis, I mentioned, I'm a huge fan of Dexter Lumis. I think he has such an upside. Such a massive upside. And, that he's going to be... I think he's going to be a big deal on the main roster. As we're back with Shotzi Blackheart, who is next to the Spin the Wheel, Make the Deal. What's interesting is next to Shotzi Blackheart is that electric chair. Where have we seen that electric chair? We have seen that electric chair from Monday Night Raw in 2019 with Corey Graves and Sami Zayn. Yes, that is the very same electric chair that we saw in 2019. It's been I don't know, repurposed for an NXT Halloween Havoc set. Yeah, well, we only knew you so much. We know you so much. If you are, of course, new to the channel, be sure to subscribe. You can do that by clicking the bottom right hand corner of the screen right now. We are doing more watch-alongs coming very, very soon. Starting Friday night on SmackDown, we'll be doing watch-alongs for Raw, NXT, or AEW on Wednesdays, as well as pay-per-views. Full Gear is in a couple of weeks. AEW Full Gear. John Moxley versus Eddie Kingston, the main event of that one. FTR versus the Young Bucks. So you can join us in watching along with that. Obviously, we've got Survivor Series next month as well. So we'll be doing that. Plus, we upload daily videos to the channel. We talk about all things here on the channel. WWE, AEW, NXT, Impact Wrestling. We do a lot of Impact Wrestling videos. We just did a Bound for Glory watch along this past weekend. We upload pretty much an Impact Wrestling video a day. So if you are a fan of Impact Wrestling or you're not, first of all, if you're not, you're missing out because they're doing some fantastic stuff at the moment. But we upload videos on that daily as well. Kevin says you have some updates about Tessa Blanchard. You know, Tessa Blanchard, I don't think many people have many updates about her. There have been rumours about her going to WWE. I suppose the latest update involving her was that her husband or fiance, I think they're married at this point, Daga, has been released by Impact Wrestling. That was a couple of weeks ago. Obviously, they both live in Mexico together. I think most likely we'll see Tessa and Daga do some spots in Mexico, maybe AAA, something like that. As far as Tessa going to a North American promotion, don't think she'll go to AEW. AEW, of course, their women's division is not great. It really is not great. So they could use her in the women's division. I don't think they will. The PR involving Tessa Blanchard is not great. We know about her, the accusations about her past comments, her previous behaviours in pro wrestling, and a lot of those people are currently in AEW and quite frankly in WWE as well. So I don't think AEW is interested, regardless of the fact that they have Tully there. He doesn't have any pull or say in AEW, so she isn't going, I don't think, to AEW. There were reports about her going to WWE. WWE doesn't care about bad PR at this point. I mean, what worse can they do? They've had Saudi Arabian deals with, that kind of deal. They've had the stuff with the pandemic. They've had firing 400 employees or whatever during a pandemic. You've had the independent contractor stuff. You've had them taking money out of their performance contracts via Twitch and Cameo. You've had independent contractor status. All of that stuff. They don't care about negative PR. So if she goes anywhere, it'll be WWE. I think WWE are considering it. I think they're just trying to figure out the best time to bring her in with the minimal damage. But ultimately, they know they're going to get backlash when they sign her. But I think if she ends up anywhere, it'll be WWE. Ian Thompson says, I think it's Bruce Pritchard's fault on why Retribution is being buried. I don't think they're being buried. I think they're being poorly booked. I think there is a difference between that. I think ultimately what's scary is WWE do think they're doing what's best for them. And they're not. So we're back with NXT Halloween Havoc. It says that this is the unlucky 13th Halloween Havoc, dating back to its inception on October 28th, 1989. Of course, this is the first Halloween Havoc that has aired for 20 years. The last one was in October 2000. We have a promo with Tommaso Ciampa backstage night. Now, was Tommaso Ciampa? Was he the guy in the Grim Reaper Scream mask earlier tonight in the Johnny Gargano Damian Priest match? Tommaso Ciampa's an interesting one. A couple of years ago, one of the hottest heels in the business. Obviously got the neck injury, came back. I think his return when he came back last year, we were so excited. Has he reached the heights of what he was at previously before his neck injury? I don't know. That's a tough one. I think also an issue when it comes to Tommaso Ciampa, and this has been kind of the same with Johnny Gargano too, is because the system in NXT is you build up, and then you go to Raw or you go to SmackDown. Part of the problem with that is when you have people like Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano that insist on staying, they have to constantly reinvent themselves, which is difficult because we're not used to viewing talent like that in NXT. But we'll see what happens with Ciampa. He's still a massive star for them. It's just a case of what's next for Ciampa. Was he involved with Johnny Gargano earlier tonight? I don't know if they would go do that. Would they go back on that so quickly? He is a heel now, I suppose. He calls himself the greatest sports entertainer of all time. And, well, that isn't the case. But Kevin Avery says, what match can main event Mania 37? Io versus Asuka or Bianca Belair versus Sasha? Well, I don't want to burst the bubble. I don't think either will. But what match could? What would be more likely to happen? If you were going to say what match out of those two would be more likely to main event WrestleMania, it would be Bianca Belair versus Sasha, because Vince McMahon wouldn't have Io versus Asuka main event WrestleMania because he doesn't think either one of them can cut a promo, unfortunately. Which seems brutal to say, but I think it's absolute BS. But it's the truth. Well, it's not the truth. They can cut a promo. They can cut great promos. Asuka's one of the best promos on the Raw roster, on WWE roster, quite frankly. So they're just announcing some matches for next week. Tommaso Ciampa versus Velveteen Dream. Ember Moon versus Dakota Kai 2. They should be great matches. Why is Velveteen Dream still on TV? I'm sure that will get some people talking. But two great matches for next week's NXT. But here we go. It's time for the main event. It's time for the NXT Women's Championship. It's Candice LeRae out first. She's going to be facing Io Shirai for the NXT Women's Championship. Obviously, how many times do you think, if we had a shot glass here, and every time it was take a shot that Vic Joseph in this match says the Poison Pixie, I don't think I would make the end of this stream. And we've only got, 10 minutes left, or 15 minutes left. Because he will say the Poison Pixie about 1 million times in this match. I'm not exaggerating. He will say it 1 million times in this match. You can quote me on that, you can clip that, because he will say it. Every time he does it, actually, let's do this. I've got my post-it notes here. Oh, they're green, so you can't see. But my post-it notes here. See if I get a different colour. Does that work? Okay, I've got my post-it notes here. Every time he says Poison Pixie, we will make a tally. And by the end of this stream, we will see how many times we've got this. As Io Shirai's coming out, it looks to me she's been sung out by Poppy. Poppy at this point is just Miss NXT, isn't she? How many NXT appearances is this now? 3? It's her 3rd NXT appearance for Poppy. I love me some Poppy as well. Her last album was great. If you're a big gym goer, she's got some major gym music. And she sung Io Shirai to the ring before, didn't she, on an episode of NXT? Triple H is a big fan of Poppy. Is she actually singing though? Because that didn't look like it. As far as music goes, it didn't feel like she was singing for a second there. We'll find out in a second. Or pay attention a bit closely. See if she... There is no way. There is no way she is singing live. There is no way. It doesn't look like she's singing at all. There's no sound. I mean, it's great to see Poppy there, and I love her music, but if she's singing live, then I have more followers than PewDiePie on YouTube. Subscribers. I don't. And I don't think she was singing live either. But a pretty cool entrance there for Io Shirai, as of course the NXT Women's Championship is on the line here. What are our predictions? You know what? Before tonight, I would have said that I felt that Io Shirai would retain here, but given the result that we saw earlier tonight, I think we're going to see a new Women's Champion here. But here we go. Shotzi Blackheart is spinning the wheel. She's spinning the wheel on what is going to be the match type. Tables, ladders, and scares. So pretty much a TLC match. Pretty much a TLC match we're getting tonight. Oh my god. Io Shirai with a dive to the outside of the ring there. Man, I look like it hurt. There we go. Yes, a TLC match. And the bout is being hung up. I was just about to say, does this mean the bout is going to be hung up? But the match is going to be a TLS match. No pinfalls or submissions, no disqualifications or countouts. Climb the ladder and retrieve the Women's Championship. So we got a TLC main event. My oh my. TLS main event. But TLC, this is going to be interesting. I know the whole gimmick is spin the wheel, make the deal situation. But imagine that they... what is on the bottom of that table? Candice LeRae has just pulled out a table here. There is a bag. Oh my god. There was chopped up body parts in there. What the hell is going on? And Io Shirai is attacking Candice LeRae at this point with a severed arm. What the hell? Is that PG? Is mutilated bodies PG? It doesn't feel like it. I mean, I know it's obviously a mannequin, but my oh my. You're not allowed to get colour. You're not allowed to get colour and do a blade job on TV, but you're allowed to have a severed leg. How is that right?